Jeffrey. You can call me Sean though, I hate being formal. And my topic is lifting the ban on assault rifles here in the state. You know, like fully automatic weapons. Has anyone shot a rifle before? Did you enjoy the experience? And we got one. All right. Yeah, exactly. Any semi-automatic rifles? Anyone shot that? Not even handguns in the audience? Oh, there we go. All right. Well, I believe that if we allowed citizens to have this, it would actually benefit society. And the reasons being for that is because it helped California economically, and B, well, criminals would not really benefit from it. To start, I'm going to say that automatic weapons would help California because, well, let's see here, you have to have an FFL Class 3 license. In other states, that's what you have to get to own fully automatic rifles. And those generate about $500 a year off that person. And that doesn't exclude the money you have to put into it just to get the licensing for it. And on top of that, California can generate revenue off the sale of rifles. I mean, just moving here from Missouri, I've noticed California taxes everything. Am I right? And they could generate a pretty hefty price, on rifles since, well, they are dangerous, yes. But in the right hands, they're fine. And, you can generate money off of that. And on top of that, you can also generate classes for teaching automatic rifles, training how to handle these weapons, when not to use them, and why they're dangerous. And that create jobs. And, of course, stimulate money and help the state. And people need places to go to shoot these things, right? Well, moving out here, I found that rifle ranges tend to be club-only things, right? You have to sign up. Well, if they had state-funded rifle ranges that, people have to make and maintain them, also create jobs. And plus, it also gives law enforcement, a place to go practice, with their family, things like that, instead of being limited just to their own, their own ranges. And another benefit is that if you allow automatic weapons and all these things followed through, the state could also generate a militia. And militias are really handy. In Missouri, they call the militia a lot. Like in the '93 flood, they called in the state militia to help with, flood efforts, prevent it, passing out food, control any rioting. And I hear that'd be beneficial. Like if there's any gang turf violence, they could be called to step in if the law enforcement can't handle it. Or if earthquakes are pretty big here, from what I understand, they could come in and help. Okay, my second point, and last point, is that criminals would not benefit from this at all. A, because you have to register to have an automatic weapon, like handguns and stuff. So they're already in the database. And what criminal wants to be, already on the list for a weapon that they're going to use to commit crimes? And on top of that, they prefer large caliber handgun because they can hide it. How hard is it to hide something that's this big, commit a crime? It's pretty difficult. And handguns are also cheaper for them to obtain. And truthfully, I've only, just from my basic knowledge, the only extreme cases they use, automatic rifles is like Columbine, and that's not really gang-related incidents. That's people that are crazy. But and on top of that, gang turf wars, like along the borders, they're going to get the rifles anyway legally, so they're just going to use it. So if we got this, it'd be benefiting the citizens directly. It'd generate money for the state, and we'd be able to, have fun and learn how to use these things. All right, that's it. Thank you.
Can you give me the time on that, please?
4:20.
All right. All right, Sean, you identify your proposition. It's quite broad. It's going to cover a lot of territory, so I think that you might want to be a little bit more focused. The secondary claims that you label, they're not very clearly phrased as you get started, and once you get to that first point, it seems like you've got a whole series of additional claims, which makes it hard to distinguish whether that fits with your first point or where your second point is going to be. So I think that you need to be a little bit more distinct on the labeling of those points when you're getting into the body of the speech. The biggest issue that's a problem is the shortage of evidence to support your point. You've got a lot of hypothetical examples to advance your claim, but other than that, the grounds are pretty skinny. You don't have any statistical data, comparisons to other states that use these kinds of laws, for instance, how much more utility they have, how much more income it generates, whether or not people see it convenient. Given the audience survey that you have at the beginning, you could go to a couple of ways on that. One might be you could say, well, this is clearly a problem because we don't have the overwhelming response of people who are utilizing those weapons. That's because the laws are so restrictive, that people don't get the chance and so on and so forth. Or it could go the other direction. Nobody here really feels like it's a big need to do that, so they're not going to be worried all that much about the changes that you're talking about. But that's the closest that you come to anything that's statistical in nature. There are no authorities, legal or economic, that are advancing this as an advantage. And you do have a rebuttal issue built into your argument, which is really arguing, that's what that whole second point is, that the criminals aren't going to benefit from it. That's not really an advantage to the system. It's an attempt to answer a potential disadvantage or reason why we wouldn't want to change things. I think you do a nice job trying to talk to the audience. You're avuncular and friendly, and you try and connect with people. But without greater proof, I'm not sure that your argument's going to be as convincing as you want it to be. All right, thank you.